Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Jeb. We ended up getting an update for Black Ops Cold War last night in preparation for Season 1 that's supposed to actually be releasing within, what, 12 hours of you guys seeing this video or so? Basically a few hours after this point anyway. Season 1 will officially drop, and I guess the Warzone update and everything with, like, the weapons and stuff like that will be out as well. So, I don't think I'm gonna do Warzone Day 1 unless that's what people want. I think I'm just gonna be trying to concentrate on whatever the content is here. Now, speaking of the content that's on here, by the way, when that update initially came out last night, there were some people, and myself included, that were able to actually see some weapons in here that I'm not entirely sure should have been able to see. What we know, we're supposed to be getting the MAC-10 and the Groza, just an SMG and an AR, right? That's the thing that we ended up seeing. Now, the thing is, obviously, there are also some weapons that could come in mid-season that maybe they just don't mention or whatever it is. You know, Modern Warfare kind of had little things like that, like when the swords drop or whatever it may be. Well, it turns out that when they put this update out, it was actually not meant to show some of the things that they showed, but I ended up seeing anyway when, you know, I was just playing. I saw that under the knife category, you can actually end up getting a sledgehammer, and you can also end up getting a sword. I'm not entirely sure if it's 2 swords or 1 sword, but there's a sword there. There were challenges for it. You needed to get, what was it, double kills in order to get the sledgehammer, and then you needed to get 2 executions in like 10 games, I think, in order to get the sword. So when I got into a game that night, they also ended up showing that there was a striker coming to the game. And if anybody played Modern Warfare 3, the striker, the thing will usually, you can get it up to like over 30 rounds in it, and you can just fire it over and over and over again with this giant drum thing. It was super annoying, super noxious, but not always the most OP thing, but is incredibly strong, you know, indoors, close range. They also did some adjustments, but they actually don't have the patch notes out or anything like that. So, as you guys know from the title of this video, they actually ended up buffing the Barrett 50 cal. So it's kind of weird the way that they did this update. Quality of life and weapon tuning and stuff ended up going live, but the actual content and stuff is still, you know, locked. So, we don't have the patch notes for it until, you know, sometime tonight before this update ends up actually dropping for real. This full Season 1 update when it's completely done. I mean, they did buff it, but... So, obviously, with the patch notes, you know, not being out or anything like that, for sure, you probably want to wait for the actual patch notes to see real numbers. But even then, sometimes patch notes are a little sketchy, so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt or whatever. As soon as they mentioned that they were actually doing the weapon tuning update that night, about 10 minutes before the actual update went live, I decided to take a screenshot of all of the statistics for all of the sniper rifles, just in case they, you know, changed anything that actually really mattered, I guess. This is a screenshot before the update ended up going live, and this is a screenshot after the update ended up going live. You can see that the damage numbers and all that stuff are the same. The only thing that is different is that the vertical recoil control went from over 1,000 to now under 1,000. That indicates that the vertical recoil isn't as bad, but honestly, as I'm using it, I really don't feel like it helped at all. I'm gonna be honest. They might have actually buffed it, right? It might actually be a thing, but they also might have changed something else about it, because something feels a little bit weird. The recoil might be better looking at it statistically, but it doesn't feel that way. Oh no, wait, yeah, the centering speed goes from 11.5 to 7.5, whatever that measurement means. What the fuck? Did I add something that gives centering speed, maybe? Wait, I don't think there's anything in the game that actually changes your centering speed. I thought the bipod changed your centering speed. So you're telling me they nerfed it and I can't even actually account for it? I can't, like, try to, I don't know, change some sort of attachment to help myself out. No, it's just... Okay. Oh, here, I'm not gonna touch anything, okay? I'm just gonna...
Kill confirmed.
Wait, I hit... What? As you can see, anyway, it's going up. If I go and try to quickscope like that, look where my centering is right here, okay? Looking at the top of the fence right there on the blue. I'm gonna quickscope it, boom. I'm gonna scope back in. I am now above that point that I was originally aiming at. So every single time I shoot with this weapon, which I can fire very, very quickly, I have to compensate myself to bring it back down. I mean, this gun was definitely already the worst, but after this update, I don't know, man. You basically just made it so the gun just kind of feels like shit. Like, whenever I do this and I'm running around quickscoping and stuff, like, I can adjust for it, right? But the thing is, this is a change. It's not necessarily even like, it's a buff and a nerf, which really results in just an overall different feel of the weapon, but no better or... I mean, I guess they technically did buff it, but it didn't really help. I mean, this thing, if it's not gonna get an ADS buff, it's gonna need like a damage buff or something. Barrett also running around with it too much teaches you absolutely awful habits. Basically, this gun wants you to stay in your scope and like hold lines of sight and just kind of spray like that instead of actually, I don't know, playing like how you usually would. This teaches you to play in a way that is not actually helpful for you. You have to change your play style whenever you use something like this. Like if I spent an entire day using this thing and I spent the entire time just compensating over and over and over and over and over and over, I would just get used to just pulling it down ever so slightly every single time I shot. I would be messing up my Pellington and LW3 shot. And then inevitably, once I go back to those and I try to come back to this, it's gonna feel the same way. Obviously, you can go and get used to them. Obviously, you can still hit clips with it. I mean, it's not like it's not possible to hit clips with the thing. It feels bad, and because of the way that you have to handle the weapon, you shouldn't actually even scope out. You should really just stay in your scope. So it really just looks bad. It feels bad to play this way. I mean, I'm sure some people got that play style, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. You basically use it like an incredibly slow, long-range DMR. I also see a lot of other people, because of how slow this thing is, using a lot of other scopes and stuff. It's not gonna make it any faster, but maybe it'll make it easier to fight close range or something. If you got like a lower zoom, maybe it's a bit easier to, you know, fight close range. So yeah, I mean, they buffed the Barrett, but I mean, not really. Still sucks. I was really believing in you, Tony. Tony Flame said that this thing was gonna be getting a buff, but I don't know, maybe you guys saw something in testing and was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do anything. I don't know, man. Let us know, Tony. Was this the buff that you tweeted about? And hey, if you would like to support this buff, maybe even show us how much it actually helps statistically, maybe after a couple weeks or something, because I highly doubt that this is gonna help it at all. What do I know?